I want to stop here for a moment because I failed. In the last episode on my 86 IROC, I finally made some progress on rear end of the car. I've refurbished and installed the taillights, got the rear bumper fitted and also replaced the weather stripping on the T-tops. Well, sort of. It still needs some adjustments and some glue, but definitely better than it was before. And I would like to keep the momentum going and start putting the front end of the car back together. Unfortunately, I still got a few things that I need to address first. I need to change the front springs. I need to replace the coolant temperature sensor. I still need to find a proper home for that vacuum reservoir. Not sure where we're gonna put that. And also, it appears I've got some kind of a engine leak. I definitely need to find out where's that coming from. So yeah, still a few things to do before I can move forward. Let's not waste any time and begin. So the first thing I want to deal with is the front springs. And the reason why I want to change the current springs is because these are too high, or too short rather now. So the story behind it is I bought a brand new springs back in the UK. When I tried to install them, I realized there were springs for Berlinetta, not the IROC. So that means they were about roughly 2 inches taller than what they're supposed to be. And of course, instead of waiting for the correct set to arrive, I decided to cut one coil down and make that work. Unfortunately, that made the car way too low, so that's how I end up being here. The car sits way too low, so I folded the proper IROC springs and now I'm gonna replace them. So I've got the easy part done, taking the spring out. And looking at it right now, you can see not only how the spring, the current or the old spring is shorter, because obviously I cut one of the coils out, but how much beefier the one for iRock are. Hopefully you're gonna be able to see that on the camera. But to me, to naked eye, you can tell the difference straight away. And after doing some quick Googling, yes, they are not only 2 inches shorter, but also a bit stiffer. Now, the idea is to install this inside and then squish it with a lift again. That's how most people doing it, so I'm gonna give it a try. I want to stop here for a moment because I failed. The easiest way to do this is to leave the spring sitting on the control arm and then use the floor jack to push it up into its place. Or at least that's the way I did it the last time. However, I was able to do that because the previous spring, or the old spring, as I said before, was shortened by 1 coil, which made my life way easier. With this one here, I basically need a coil spring, which I don't have, because GM back in the day thought it will be a good idea to design these cars so only the spring compressor will work. And now I've got a choice to make. Do I order a brand new spring compressor, or do I order an airbag for air suspension? Bit of a dilemma here. For now, let's leave the suspension alone and see if I can find the oil leak that I've got underneath. Okay, let's have a look. And no surprise here, I've got an oil leak from the drain block. That's a easy fix. All I have to do is to replace the washer, and that should sort the problem out. Also, that's gonna give me a chance to replace the engine oil, because that's not been done for what, over 2 years now. I know the car not been used almost at all, but still it's 2 years. So let's do that quickly and then we can move on onto the next thing. I replaced the fan switch because the old one was rated at 230 degrees and I think that was a bit too high. The new one should kick the fan on at around 212, so hopefully that will help to keep the engine under control a bit more. And also because I'm still not sure if my temp gauge where it's working correctly. I've got the aftermarket one connected just for now, just for the tests. I also fixed the oil leak from the drain plug. Nothing crazy here, just replaced the washer for the, with a copper one, and that should do the trick. Then I had a small leak where speedometer cable goes into the transmission. Again, nothing dramatic there, just it needed tightening a bit more. From there I moved onto the vacuum canister. Originally I was going to mount it somewhere at the back of the car because I want to keep this engine bay as empty and as clean as possible. But then I looked at the front of the car and I realized I've got no aircon anymore, therefore I've got no aircon radiator, and I've got this nice space around here. I've made a custom bracket and I'm just gonna leave it here up front for now and see how it works. So yeah, not the biggest progress in the world, but it's gonna be done. For now, let's drop the car down. Take it out, bleed the coolant system and see if the fan switch works as it should, and let's see if the brake canister also works as it should. So obviously there is still something wrong. I don't know why the fan just doesn't kick in. Let's have a look. 9.2. So we've got a bunch of fails this episode. Spring swap fail, fan switch fail. Well, I guess it's not always the win. I'm not sure what seems to be the problem here. Why the fan doesn't kick on. The switch only gets 9 volts, which doesn't make sense because it's a brand new switch and the old one did the exact same thing. I'm gonna have to do some reading and some testing, but for now I'm just gonna call it a day. It's been a long one for me, I'm tired, and yeah, so thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time.